Alright guys, in the last video we set up our authentication and the dashboard. Now what I want to do is start to create the listings functionality. Alright, so each user will be able to post listings, business listings. So let's create the controller first of all. So make sure you're in your project directory and we'll say artisan make controller, and this will be called listings controller, and then I'm going to add -- resource at the end here, and that'll create the functions that we need, the CRUD functionality, or not functionality but the actual methods. So now if we look over here in controllers, we have this listings controller with index, create, store, all that good stuff. Now I want to go to the routes file, which is in routes, and then web.php. And right here we want to do route, and instead of writing them all out, we can just do resource, and in here say for listings, and it's going to use the listings controller. Alright, so now if we go back to our command line and say php artisan route list, I don't think I showed you this before, but this will actually give us all the routes that are available in our application. So you can see we have our dashboard route, we have the listings, which will go to a post request to listings will go to listings store, a get request will go to index, a get request to listings / create will go to the create function. If we just make a get request to listings and then the ID, that'll go to show, and so on. So this gives you a nice overview of your entire application, all the routes. Alright, now what we want to do is create the model, the listing model. So let's say php artisan make model listing, and then I'm going to add the -m here, because what that's going to do is it's going to create a migration file so that we can start to create the listings table. Alright, so let's run that. And then if we look in our database folder and migrations, you'll see there's a create listings table. We want to open that up, and we want to add some stuff onto this. Okay, so we have our ID, primary key. We also want a user ID from the users table. So let's say table, and this is going to be an integer field. Integer, and this is going to be called user underscore ID. Alright, and then let's do a name. Okay, so this will be like the company name or the business name. And let's see, I'm just going to copy that. Alright, so in addition to name, we're going to want the address of the business. Okay, we want the, let's get the website, the email, phone, and let's also allow them to post a little bio. Alright, these should actually be string, not name. Alright. So that looks good, and then if we go down, we're just going to drop the whole table. So let's go ahead and save that. And now we want to run the migration, so we'll go back to Commander, and let's go ahead and say php, oops, that's not even the right, here we go. Alright, so php artisan migrate. Alright, so now let's go look at the database with phpMyAdmin, and you can see we have a listings table. Look at the structure, and it has all the stuff that we provided. Good. Now, since we registered a user, that should be in the users table. Okay, so this is the user we created. You can see the password is hashed. And what I want to do is just insert a couple listings. Okay, let's actually create one more user. John Doe. All right, so we get 2 users, and let's go ahead and go to, if we reload, we should see John Doe. Let's go to the listings table and insert. For the user ID, this will be 1, which is Brad. And then for the name of the business, let's say, we'll just say Traversy Media. And address, I'll just make up a fake address here. We'll say Main Street, Boston, Mass. Website, oops. And email, phone number, and bio, we'll say we make really awesome tutorials. Alright, and then for John Doe, let's give him a listing as well. He's ID 2, and we'll say, I don't know, John Doe Productions. And then address, we'll just say North Street, Miami, Florida. And then website, email, let's say jdoe@gmail, and then phone number, bio, we'll say this is a really cool company. Alright, so let's go ahead and click go, and now we have 2 listings. Now there's going to be a relationship between users and listings, so we can define relationship functions in the model. So let's go to the user model, which is right here, and let's go down here, and let's say add one-to-many relationship. Now it's one-to-many because one user can have many posts. I mean, not posts, listings. So all we have to do here is say public function listings, and to create the relationship we're going to say return this has many, and then in here we can say app/listing. Okay, and that'll create that relationship. So let's save that, and we, on the other side of it, we want to go to the listing model here, and we want to create a function called user, and then this is going to have a belongs to relationship because a listing belongs to a user. So we'll say return this belongs to, and then app/user. Alright, now what we want to do is go to the dashboard controller, and basically we want a list of that particular user's posts, or like calling them posts, listings. So let's go down to the index function here, and to get the user's ID, we can simply let's just return auth user ID. All right, let's see what that gives us. Okay, we get ID 2 because we're logged in as John Doe. So that's how we can get the ID. In fact, let's put that in a variable. We'll say user ID equals that. Alright, now since we created the relationship, we can do this in a pretty simple way. So we're going to do, what am I doing? So we get the user ID, and then we want to find that user. So let's say user equals user find, and then here we'll pass in the user ID. Alright, now in order to use this right here, we have to go up to the top and just say use app/user. Alright, so that'll get us the user, but we want the listings for that user. Alright, and we can now get that with this right here, user dash, or not dash, arrow listings. We should be able to do that. Alright, so I want to pass that into our view. So right here, let's say with listings, and then here we're going to pass user listings, and that should do it. So let's save that and then go to the dashboard view, and then we should be able to loop through those listings. So let's go in the panel body here, and we'll put in an H3, and let's say your listings, and I want this to be a table, but what we're going to do first is make sure that there is a listing. So we can do that by doing if, let's say if count listings. Okay, then we'll start the table, and let's give it a class of table and table striped, which is bootstrap. And then we'll do a table row. This will be the headings. So we're just going to have a heading for company, and then just a couple blank headings because this is where the buttons are going to go. Alright, and then right under the TR, we want to loop through each listing. Okay, so let's do for each listings as listing. Okay, and then in here we're going to have a table row, and let's put in a TD, and this will be the business name. So we should be able to say listing name, and then we'll have 2 TDs for the button. Alright, so let's just try this out. If we go ahead and save and reload. Oh, I forgot the curly braces. And there it is, John Doe Productions. Now, if I were to log out and log in as Brad, there we go, Traversy Media. So it's only showing our listings, okay, for the currently logged in user. Alright guys, that's going to be it for this video. In the next one, we're going to create the add listing functionality so that we can add them through the application.